Today, my wife gave me the not in love with you line. I can't do this anymore, I want a separation. I'm not happy, out of the blue of course, just like so many others here. We've been together 22 years, married for 15 years. She's 50, I'm 43. I just want to be on my own. I'm so sorry but I'm not happy, blah blah blah. Me, is there someone else? Her, no, no way. Me, emotional affair. Her, no, absolutely not. I just can't do this anymore, I want my own space and want to live on my own. I'm so sorry. I moved into the spare room the next night, on a camp bed. Been there since, now secured a rental but can't move in until the 31st of March. Soon after the D-bomb I was Googling like a madman. I thought I understood, I've been neglecting her needs. I haven't shown her love, haven't listened like I should have, etc. You know the deal here, right? So, I changed my ways straight away, washing, cooking, cleaning, smiling, enthusiastic. Nothing. Time went on, I was doing the 180 as I saw fit, still nothing. Then, I snooped. Screw it, nothing was adding up. I found her FB login detail and logged into her Messenger account. An EA with a colleague has turned into a PA, I'll call him Ian, because that's his name. This guy, BTW, dated her best mate, of 30 years, about 2 years ago. She's mentioned to me before that he's a bit of a slag around work and has had most of the women. The conversations, which went back about 18 months, showed a friendship that developed into a lot more. He was coming round our house when I was at work for coffee and going on dog walks with my damn dog. To be fair, the FB cache didn't really uncover an affair. There was no I love you, I want to sleep with you, etc. Think they've taken that to text or something else. So, I snooped again, found her bank account login details and a credit card. She's only been going to a local pub, off the beaten track, for drinks etc. on days where she's been really busy at work. Also, there was a debit for a pub close to his house for $50, on a day that she should have been at work. Obviously, a nice bit of lunch and a couple of drinks. Damn me, she seems to be paying for everything but always complains to me that she's got no money. Mind you, this bloke is now in his second bankruptcy. Yeah, a real morally upstanding citizen, what a catch. Looking back now, there were lots of red flags. Protestations about her sister's infidelity, cringing at the thought of having a relationship with someone at work etc. plus a few more. Last said Ian had a leaving due, he's going to a new job. She went out, she, at this point doesn't know what I know, and planned to stay with her female friend overnight. She came home about 2 p.m. on Sunday and put all her clothes straight in the wash. She was slow though, I emptied the wash to put in the dryer. Yup, the lingerie that I had bought her. Never wears at any other time. Chatting on Sunday night, I asked her about her friend's place that she claimed she stayed at. Her eyes were wandering all over the place. I knew she was lying. My stomach punched. Monday, I checked the FB Messenger again. A couple of messages from some women she was out with on Saturday night. Did you get home okay? Yes, she replied. Lying, B didn't get home until Sunday afternoon. Monday night, I knew she would come into my bedroom to ask about tea. So, I had a web page open, 7 ways to tell your wife is cheating. I left it in full view. She clocked it and her face hit the floor. I stifled my grin, waited 5 minutes and went downstairs. It looked like she'd been punched in the guts. Guilt. That's a good enough sign for me. After tea she brought this up. Just more lies and blame shifting. I accused her of having an affair with Ian. She denied it point blank, he's just a friend. 20 minutes later she offered her phone to me to look at anything I want. I declined. Later, searching her FB Messenger, she has deleted her chat with Ian. It's kind of Orwellian really. Tuesday and tonight, Wednesday, she's come home from work at her normal time, not like the last few weeks where she's been so busy and not getting home till 8-9 p.m. But her disposition has changed. She knows she's been rumbled and the guilt is ruining her. Looks at the floor all the time and always looks like she's close to tears. Today, I've received a GPS tracker. It's going in her car tomorrow morning. I will catch this damn cheating. She has put all the blame for this on me. I felt like a useless husband. My daughter and stepson know their mother isn't happy because of me. She's told the same story to her siblings and elderly mother, and all of her friends too. Screw me, I've even told my mom and sisters that she doesn't love me anymore because of my shortcomings as a husband. 22 damn years and she wants to end it like this. Well, if she wants a war, she better be well ready, because chaos is coming. I need her to know that I know. She's told so many lies that I want her to face the truth. I also need the truth. Update, I'm in the UK. Well, I confronted her last night. It went something like this: I know you're having an affair, you know it too. Why can't you just be honest for once and admit it? You've not only lied to me but our daughter, son, your family and friends too. You're caught up in so many lies I don't think you know what the truth is anymore. She obviously denied everything, but with a shake of the head. She didn't verbalize anything. I pointed out a few red flags and other things. She said she'll leave now then, got in her car and disappeared. Unbeknown to me, our daughter heard all of this and started crying, saying, "Mom's gone. What have you done?" I felt bad, not liberated like I thought I would. I waited an hour and sent the wife a text. Yeah, I know, but this was for my daughter, not me. I told her to come back and stay here until she's able to move to her new place. We're in a temporary rental, which she has sorted in the last few weeks. She replied, "We are in this situation because of me. I also don't want to make your life any more unhappy or uncomfortable than I already have. I'm sorry. I will come back tomorrow and get my stuff. It's not fair on you for me to still be there. I just want to make sure it's okay or try to make it better than it is right now. If I can't find somewhere, then I would appreciate a few nights to sort something, and I don't want living out of a suitcase." I replied that she should just stay here until we can both move out. I don't want to force financial hardship on her. I know that's weak, but my daughter is going to live with her, and I don't want her to suffer because of this. I've no idea where she went, but she's come back home at 7 a.m. straight to bed, not sure if she's going to go to work or is having the day off to sort her stuff out and move out. She's now back. No locks changed, no refusal of entry. I've told her I will keep things civil until we both leave. I can't handle the stress of more arguments. It's starting to affect my work, and I can't let that happen as I have my own small business. It's good to share my thoughts here. I don't have anyone else to talk to. We moved to a new city 10 years ago, primarily because she got a promotion. I was able to relocate my job that I was doing at that time. I've never made an effort to make new friends as I was happy with family life. She's a nurse. When we met, she had a mundane office job. A little while after our daughter was born, she was discussing returning to work but was not overly enthusiastic about the same type of work. I asked her what her dream job would be. "A nurse," she replied. I encouraged her to train. I found an access course at a local college. These courses are required in the UK before you can go to uni if you've been out of education for a while. She completed that and then did a nursing degree. For those 4 years, life was tough financially. I was not earning a lot, but we managed and struggled through. I was happy to graft to make sure she could realize her dreams. That support and encouragement has now been thrown back in my face. She's done well and has worked her way through the grades. She manages people now too. Her AP was a subordinate, believe it or not. This is another sign of her damaging behavior. If that relationship had come to light in work, she could have been dismissed from her job. She has to ensure, as a nurse, that her behavior and professionalism do not contravene the rules set out by the RCN, Royal College of Nursing, who provide her with a registration to operate. She seems to be on a path to self-destruction. Is this self-hatred? My daughter has been distant from me today and refused a hug with me earlier. That broke my heart. She can see no wrong in her mother. I don't want to lose her too. She's 15. My stepson, who I helped raise from the age of 7, is now 29. He lives away from home after settling after doing a degree. He's a great lad but will obviously only see good in his mum too. It feels like me against the world at the moment. I have been seeing a therapist and was due another appointment on Monday. I've received an email from her today advising that all future face-to-face appointments have to be cancelled due to the threat of coronavirus. Everything is a hurdle at the moment. I've still got 19 days left here before I move out. I've bought some appliances, a small fridge, washing machine, today ready for the move. This, whilst practical and necessarily, made me realize what a crap shows this whole thing is. I know I need to look to the future and think of me, but crap, it's hard. I see no joy in being on my own in a city full of strangers. 1. No, she hasn't admitted it, although she's no longer denying it, to me at least. 2. In the marital bed. I'm in the spare room. 3. We are in rented accommodation. This was meant to be temporary before we bought a house again. In the UK, you typically sign a 6-month tenancy. This then rolls on if you wish to stay beyond the first 6 months. We moved here in October 2019, so the 6 months expires in early April. She has given 1 month's notice on the property, so we have to be out by April 9th. She's secured a new place, and so have I. Will both be renting for the short term. I've got other issues too now. I'm self-employed and work has come to a complete stop, so I have zero income at the moment. All of my savings have gone on securing a new property. I know it's similar for a lot of people, but what with this infidelity too, it feels like everything's against me at the moment. I think it's been a few weeks since my last post, so an update. We're still under the same roof. I'm moving out next Tuesday, 31st, WW, and my daughter are due to move out on the 4th of April. Tenancy for the current address ends soon after that. I've tried to be civil to keep my sanity and not to upset my daughter, but I haven't given up. After I told her I know about her affair, and who with, I knew she'd go dark. One of the benefits of this forum. So, I've got a GPS and VAR in the car, based on advice and other threads here. Amazingly, after I confronted her, there's no more working late, even coming back early sometimes. GPS confirms she's been going to work and straight home. No detours, etc. Also, the lockdown in the UK has meant pubs and restaurants aren't open, so their favorite place is now out of bounds. The VAR, though, wow, even though I knew 100% she was cheating, I wasn't prepared for the punch in the guts on hearing it all for myself. Damn, I was shaking like a leaf and nauseous listening to their conversations. Also, what's weird, to me at least, about 18 months ago I met OMWW's best friend, of over 30 years, was dating him, and we went out for drinks as a foursome. Yes, you've read that right, OM was dating WW's best friend. Anyway, I'd assumed that she hadn't told her about her affair. Conversations on FB Messenger between the two didn't show that. But a telephone conversation, picked up by VAR, confirms her friend knew. How can you sleep with your best mate's ex? That's just way too disgusting for me to even consider. Shows the morals of the woman. Also, VAR shows she's a pathological liar. She lies to everyone. Some little white lies, some big lies, but lies, nonetheless. I've not had a chance to read into the psychological machinations, but I think she may be living in a fantasy world and always trying to make her look like a perfect person to everyone she interacts with. You can see this from the phone conversations. It's like she has a different voice for different people. It's so weird. I thought I knew her, but I really don't. I read a quote the other day, along the lines of you learn more about someone at the end of a relationship than you do at the beginning. Isn't that the truth? I've now all the evidence I need. I'm biding my time. On Monday evening I'm going to expose her. I'm leaving it until then as we're all living here and I can't deal with the fallout whilst we're all together and I'm stressing about no income, new flat to move into etc. So, the timing is for me, not her. The solicitor, attorney, is closed due to the lockdown. Just the family law department, so can't file but I have it in hand. I've drafted a letter which I will give her on Monday, detailing, I'm filing for divorce, aware of your affair, have evidence, not specify, had to have STD check, you haven't just lied to me but your whole family and everyone else. I'm giving her a choice, she tells daughter and son, and her side of the family the truth. If not, I show them the truth. Also, her workplace, HR, governing body, she's having an affair with a subordinate. All friends and phone contacts will be told. I manned up. No more Mr. Nice Guy. Didn't need to give her the letter that I mentioned in my previous post. On Friday night we were chatting. She was discussing her colleagues getting redeployed to other departments to deal with the virus. She's a nurse. I asked about a few people I knew of, then. So, where's Ian, going? She said a department, I don't recall. So, are you going to visit him there to suck him off? Her face turned white. What's wrong with you? I'm not having an affair with him. She lied. Yes, you are. You need to stop lying to me and not just about this but about everything. You're so entrenched in a world of lies you don't know what the truth is anymore. This went back and forth for a few minutes. The volume increased and the hate fed itself. Never before in 22 years had we argued like this. I threw a few facts at her and she kept attempting to gaslight me. I laughed at her in that arrogant way when you know you're right and someone's lying. I mentioned details of FB Messenger chat, credit card bills for pubs and restaurants when she said she was meant to be working late. Still, she gaslighted me. So, we were in the kitchen, I took the keys to her car and went outside. Came back straight away with the GPS and VAR in my hand. Told her what they were. I specifically mentioned the VAR and what it does. That was painful. Her face, demeanor, and body language changed immediately. She was beaten. She admitted it without me having to replay any of the sordid recordings. No apology, no regret, nothing, just an admittance. A lot of tears followed and then fake signs of regret. If I had a time machine, blah blah blah. Like a settled mushroom cloud that follows the atomic bomb, a calm ensued. And for the next couple of hours, we managed to talk in an adult and civil manner. I never lost sight of the believe 0% of what you hear though. For the first time in 2 months, I felt peace. It was the truth I needed and nothing else. I demanded she tell our daughter as she thinks I'm a madman for accusing her of cheating. No, it's got nothing to do with her, don't bring her into this. It was now 2:30 in the morning. I was tired so called it quits. Saturday morning was eerie. I was up first and she came downstairs crying. I told her that she has no need to fear me. She got a bit scared seeing me so angry the night before, and that I was calm and at peace now I had the truth from her. She said she had time to reflect and she will tell, daughter, once they're settled into the new house. When I'm out of the way I won't be able to force her hand. I nodded but defaulted to the believe 0% mantra. The rest of the weekend came and went without much drama. Monday, today, WW is at work. I'm at home packing my stuff ready to move tomorrow. Daughter is home too and going to help me. I moved the fridge freezer from the kitchen to near the front door. I damaged the kitchen flooring in the process. I make a quip to my daughter, oh typical, your mom hates me already, now she's really going to hate me. But you've done nothing wrong dad, she says. I give her a puzzled look as if saying what are you talking about? I know she's been cheating, dad. I heard you both on Friday night. I'm so sorry I didn't believe you before. I felt horrible, she shouldn't be caught up in this mess. She's even lied to me too. When you accused her a couple of weeks ago, I asked her straight, is there anything going on? She said her mom looked her in the eyes and said no. We stopped what we were doing and spent the next 2 hours talking. She asked me what I knew. I told her everything, except for the explicit details, obviously. She said she'd spent the last couple of days processing it and could now see the red flags herself. Working late, moody when home, phone secrecy, not engaging with family matters etc. I told her that her mother plans to tell her soon. Yeah, okay, I'll look forward to it and telling her I already know, but I don't think she will. I think she was just lying to you again. She's a bright kid. This was just what I needed. It was my last day as part of the family and I was feeling pretty low, but then her admission and our chat filled me with another sense of peace and calm. Someone on my team, WW, returned from work and appeared sad and emotional. I tried to be businesslike but asked her what's wrong. Apparently she now loves me and is going to miss me. Were you missing me when you had another man? I wanted to ask but bit my tongue. Tomorrow I leave. My daughter is helping me move. I have to do it myself as removal companies aren't working because of coronavirus. I feel there's a good conversation happening again. A D is in the pipeline but delayed because of this lockdown. I'm looking to the future, my future, for the first time since the D-bomb hit me square in the face. My comment, her motive for reaching out to be friends with you is to help make herself feel less guilty for her behavior. No contact is your best path. Your daughter is old enough you won't need much interaction if any. Keep everything separate. Like most you'll probably get the let's be friends ploy. This is all for her not you. If you want out of the mess and move on. Story 2. 5 days ago, at 3 a.m., my husband asked me to go on a walk with him. On the walk he told me he's no longer physically attracted to me. I am terrified that this is the end of our marriage. We have a business together. I am as in love with him today as I was 10 years ago, and I don't know what to think. I'm going to provide as many details as I can without this turning into a book. 10 years married, no children, by mutual preference. We live in his country, not mine. His mental health is usually pretty good, but since 2016 he's gone through periods of severe anxiety and depression, including a psych hospital at one point. He was on antidepressants until 6 months ago. Now he's not on anything. In 2016 my H was accused of a misdemeanor that I know, because I was physically present. He didn't do. However, because this country is slow as molasses, it still hasn't gone to trial, but eventually should. This whole thing has weighed on both of us enormously and caused him to leave his job because he couldn't work. It cost a lot for a lawyer, but far more than that was the financial fallout from him leaving his job and us deciding to open a business instead so we could be our own boss. The business has done better every year, but it's still a ton of work. He does most of the work. I bought the business with my pre-marriage life savings, which he never felt good about. He felt guilty, I guess. I became depressed myself due to the whole crap show of 2016 and giving up my dream of owning a house, and as a result, as he was getting a lot better psychologically, he took on a lot more of the work for the business and I did less. We settled into a routine with that, but it wasn't a fair routine because I was so low energy and depressed and couldn't get out of it despite trying different things. The last time I remember our physical life being really fantastic was spring 2017. We haven't had slept together since April 2019. I miss it horribly, but I thought his low drive was due to the drugs he was prescribed for his depression, anxiety. However, he's not on them anymore and still has no drive. He may be having, or have had in the past, an affair or more than one. He has a lot of freedom and I wouldn't be shocked. I would be devastated, but not surprised, if that makes sense. I haven't looked at another man since I met him. I have no desire for anyone else. I just want him to feel romantically towards me again, which he told me several times is simply no longer the case. Since he told me this, I've taken on additional responsibilities at work, permanently, which he says is really good. I don't mind doing it. I needed a huge kick in the ass to shake myself out of my depression and pick up the slack. It was totally unfair to him that he was doing so much more than I was. All this time, I've been providing financial infusions into the business as needed from my pre-marriage savings or from my parents, but I don't consider that to cover for me not doing the same hours as him. So now I'm doing more hours and hopefully he will feel better in that regard soon, though it's too early now. In 2016, when he was charged with something, he was so stressed that he couldn't sleep in the bed with me anymore. He moved to the couch. It broke my heart, but I didn't pressure him. After we moved to open our business, we could have slept in the same bed again, but I was so depressed I was the one who wanted to be alone. We haven't slept in the same bed most of the past 4 years. It breaks my heart to write that, but it's true. Nonetheless, we were always very affectionate and physical. We have slept in the same bed since Sunday night, although every night he gets up in the middle of the night and goes outside to walk because he can't sleep, feeling panic attack symptoms. I have never tried to make him feel guilty about how the criminal charge affected me, because I know he didn't do anything wrong, and it wasn't his fault. But that, and all the things that happened as a result, is why I've been so depressed. My big dream was to buy a house with my life savings, and I had to give up that dream. We got into a business I have zero interest in because it was the best financial option. But it's childish to dwell on that. It's what we have and what we have to do, unless he decides to leave me and I have to sell it at a loss. His other main gripe with me, besides not working enough, was that I'm not social. I don't have friends in this new place. After 2016, when we lost everything, including our friend circle, I tried to keep in touch with friends, but with us having moved to a new place very far away, it wasn't really doable, and they kind of lost interest, and I became very solitary. It apparently angers or upsets him that I don't have friends here and that I'm not a social butterfly with his friends, which is true, and I'm trying to fix that. Last night I went to a Christmas dinner with his friends and then to a bar afterwards, and he spent the entire dinner and bar time sitting silently, but I tried to be lively and friendly and to engage his friends. They seemed to have fun, although he was just sitting there. I'm willing to do just about anything to save our marriage. It worries me that he is constantly having panic attacks and having to go on walks at 3 a.m. or 5 a.m., sometimes only for 5 minutes. As far as affair red flags, there are some. We live in a small town and he wants me to be social with everyone, and he keeps introducing me to people as his wife and wanting me to know them. But at the same time, he definitely had the freedom to meet up with someone on his own time without me knowing. I had told him when we met that I wasn't okay with infidelity, and I needed to know, and he understood that. But that doesn't mean much, of course. I think it's possible he's having an Ia or Pia, but he told me that it hasn't happened yet in the sense of but maybe it would. To me that sounds like it's probably already happening, but he doesn't want to admit it yet. It's been 5 days and he's been affectionate with me, says he's not leaving. He does love me a lot but isn't in love with me, but I want to be again. I see red flags everywhere for an Ia, Pia, but given how interdependent we are with the business, I'd rather work this out than just jump on a plane and go back to my mom or something. I fully accept my blame for not doing as many hours of work as he does. It was never fair or right. I felt to an extent like buying the business was a contribution, but that was the wrong way to look at it. It's a very labor-intensive business, and it's not like he can just sit in an office all day and look at spreadsheets. He's exhausted and I feel very much to blame. At least we should both be exhausted if nothing else. Of course, now I am, as I haven't eaten or slept in 5 days. I guess I'm just curious what others see in this. I love him madly, I think he's a wonderful husband. But I think our lives took a very different path than either of us expected 10 or 5 years ago, and we lost each other somewhere in all the excitement and both of our depressive states. I don't know if it's possible for a man to fall in love with his wife a second time. I guess deep down I think it's really not, and I need to brace myself for what's coming. Our ages are 41, him, and 38, me. H was a teacher. One of his students, 17, male, attempted suicide twice and was hospitalized both times. He was considering a third attempt but talked to H because H was the only teacher he felt he could talk to. He refused to talk to the therapist and school guidance counselor or his parents. This happened at an after-school meeting that the student and H were both at. H came home from work and called the school principal to let him know what was going on, and I was there and heard both sides of the conversation. This is what I meant about being physically present. So I heard the principal tell H to counsel the student because he wouldn't talk to anyone else. H did, but it was technically illegal that he does so because he was an academic teacher and not a social worker or trained therapist. However, because the principal told him to, he did it, and he wanted to help, I guess. One of H's coworkers who had a bad relationship with him filed a complaint with the DA that H had broken this law. The principal, since he was the one who, probably illegally, told him to do it, should have admitted that he did so. However, he lied and said he hadn't known anything about it, which I know was false, because I heard them talking about it. It's illegal here for teachers to counsel students about sensitive topics unless specifically trained to do so. H was so upset about being sold down the river by his boss, the principal, and his colleague, the other teacher, that he essentially lost his mind and refused to go back to work or even to live in the same city, so we moved. It was a huge blow to both of us because it was a very stable job. He had a master's in the field. He had received many awards for teaching. He had written a textbook used by the whole country. He had a great reputation. We kept thinking it would be dropped. There's no way the DA will press charges. It's so stupid and petty. He did it to try to prevent a kid from X himself. As far as I'm aware, the kid lived. But they did officially charge him, although it was 4 years ago now and nothing whatsoever has happened. Even if he were to be found guilty, it would be a suspended sentence, meaning nothing really would happen and it would disappear from his record after a few years. I don't know what's going to happen or when. So far, all H has been expected to do is to send a written response through his lawyer, which he did in 2016. I've seen the paperwork for all this personally. I don't think the charge was reasonable given the situation. However, there seems to be a trend here of charging people for even very minor things, and then just throwing it out when it finally gets to court. There's no pressure on DAS to have a high conviction rate like on TV law dramas, so I guess they just don't care. Counseling. We haven't tried marriage counseling. Today, when I was doing the job that he asked me to do and taking over all the paperwork for our business and sorting through papers, it was chaotic because he had so much other work to do besides, and I put it in order. I came across a receipt for a psychotherapist here in town from May of this year, which he had never told me about. So, he has been to a therapist at least once in 2019. He was regularly seeing a psychiatrist in 2016, and then after we moved, he kept in touch with her regularly on the phone. I was seeing one in 2016 as well, a different doctor in the same office, for talk therapy during the worst of it to help me support him and deal with the whirlwind of it. I didn't find it helpful though. When I came home from work tonight, I gave him a little folder with some papers from the office saying, "This is some stuff that probably doesn't need to be in the office. Things like your Army Reserve papers, the dog's vaccine booklet, your psychotherapist stuff." He looked a little taken aback, but I didn't make an issue of it and he didn't either. So, he knows I know, but I didn't act like I was upset that he didn't tell me. However, when I did find the receipt and realized what it was, it hit me rather hard that as far back as May, he felt so distant from me that he wouldn't have even told me that he was seeing a therapist. I know that he has a tendency to keep things from me and also his parents that he thinks would upset us. His parents still don't know about the misdemeanor charge or why he left his job. They think we're insane for making these choices, but he swore me to secrecy. And I'm not allowed to tell them. I told my own parents immediately and they paid for the lawyer and our moving costs. My parents are saints. The other night I had a horrible nightmare that I asked him to do MC with me and he looked at me in the dream and said no. This marriage is over. And when I woke up, I told him that and he thought it was strange. But I don't think it's something we've seriously considered. I would be up for it. I suspect he would be too, since he's been to IC already. I only found the one receipt and I don't know if he's been multiple times, and I didn't ask. However, back around that time, I recall him showing me a business card of a therapist here in town and saying she was very nice, and if I were interested in seeing a therapist, she was an option. I don't remember if it was the same woman, but it could be. At the time, he didn't say he had been to see her as a patient though. Other questions in other comments. The peeping Tom thing is the product of an active imagination, which I appreciate, but no, nothing like that. He's not interested in that sort of thing. I would be surprised if he watched porn much. I've never known him to watch it. He has a phone but not a computer. He could watch it on his phone or... Tonight, I told him that I think about him when I masturbate, which is pretty much every day, which he did know, by the way. And he asked for details. I told him I thought that was inappropriate given he didn't think of me physically anymore. He said, "How am I supposed to think about you that way if you don't tell me?" Which was like 1% flirtatious, so I told him the type of bonding act that I mostly thought about. Like a one-word answer, and he said, that will happen at some point. I think he is starting to worry that he may have pushed me a little too far, because today he was more reassuring. I'm here, aren't I? I'm not leaving. I love you. I asked him tonight what he feels when we kiss. These are quite deep, passionate kisses that go on for a while, not pecks, and he said, love and tenderness, but not physical desire. He says that our chemistry is lost. I said, I don't think chemistry comes and goes. It's either there or it's not. I think if you feel it's gone, then it's really gone. I don't think it can come back. He seemed surprised and said, no, it can come back. In actual fact, I don't think that's true, at least not 99% of the time, and I'm not that special. He's still comfortable being naked in front of me, and after a little hesitation, I am naked with him too. We have always slept naked our entire marriage and been naked in front of each other constantly at home since we don't have kids. The only time that changed was from Sunday through Tuesday when I felt embarrassed about it, but as he so romantically pointed out, it's nothing I haven't seen before. He's on one of his walks again right now as I'm writing this. These walks, I don't know what to make of them. Is he on the phone talking to an AP? Is he getting healthy exercise? Is he suffering out in the cold and miserable? Who knows? One thing I realized today at work, he didn't come into work at all today because of the holiday, but I was there for about 5 hours, was that he was right. I had absolutely no clue about his life. I didn't know crap. I knew as much about that paperwork and the inner workings of our business as I knew the month we opened it. I completely failed at being a partner to him. Whatever else one might say, I deserve all of this. But that doesn't mean I want to give up. If he has an AP, I hope she's nice. I don't know what else to say about that. I hope she doesn't stress him out more than he already is. I guess probably he would be stressed about keeping it secret. He's attached to his phone, that's a big red flag. But who isn't? I'm attached to mine, and I have no interest in cheating on him. To answer the question his sleeping pattern. He sleeps whenever he can, but because of our business is often awake until very late at night. He tends to fall asleep easily usually. It's only lately that he's been struggling with panicky feelings in the middle of the night. Last night he got up around 5 a.m. for a walk but came back within 5 minutes. Because he was feeling better. Because AP didn't answer the phone. Who knows? He came back to bed and we cuddled and slept. His medications. He's not on anything as far as I know now. He was on meds for 4 years and an anti-anxiety medication for a much shorter time, about 9 months. He still had some of the anti-anxiety pill lying around and took one Sunday night and another one either Monday or Tuesday night because he was having a panic attack. I believe the meds has an effect on his desire, but it's been 6 months so it should have bounced back by now. The anti-anxiety pill was awful because one of the side effects was cognitive dullness. It literally made him stupid. It was a nightmare because he was on it while we were negotiating to buy our business, so I had to make all those decisions by myself. My father was in the hospital, so I couldn't even talk to my parents for advice. That in itself weighed on me a lot. My father passed away recently and that has been affecting me too. I think after today, at the office all day by myself, I feel a lot more sympathy for his position. Whatever he's up to, I barely have a right to have an opinion on it. It's like I opted out of our marriage without even realizing that's what I was doing. Depression sucks. I'm angry, and although I don't feel like I can leave the business, it's like he's two different people, the person he was at dinner last night, whom I married, and this other person that I don't recognize. I walked out of the business tonight because I just don't have it in me to be treated callously and disrespectfully. Maybe for a week, but humiliation has its limits. My comment, It's no surprise you're so confused by all his words. I think you are right in that he's afraid he's pushed too far and he wants to make sure you stay put. It keeps you in the wanting to please and accommodate him any way you can because he knows you are desperate to hold on to him. Don't put so much weight on those words. Watch how he acts and how he treats you and please, assert yourself. He's using you, but you know that.